Infinity.
Hello, yes, the infinity screen of OBS. Hello, captains, captains and admirals. We welcome everyone to our live stream. We've got a special broadcast today because several of us are now working from home, but that does give a brief opportunity to do some. Well, I'm off the clock already. So I don't know about you, Al, over on the West Coast, but I figure,
Look out, Al! There's a bus headed your way.
But I figured this is technically work because you are in fact talking about the game that you produce. So for
I'm getting paid for this.
Oh. So we want to thank you for joining us on part 2 of Measure of Morality with director's commentary. With none other than Star Trek Online's lead designer, Al, Captain Gecko Rivera. Again, thank you so much for joining us this
Thank
afternoon.
you. This might be spending a lot of time here now going forward, so I might have some free cycles here and there. Actually, it's not true. We are. Yes, Cryptic is now. I sent an announcement that we are working from home,
right.
And we're setting that up. It's we'll be at 100% capacity pretty quickly, but not being at the office means that I have a little bit more of a flexible schedule, as well as not having to be at every meeting all the time. So although we are taking a lot of virtual meetings, but I'm happy to be here and spending this time here as we're in this transitional phase, and I look forward to being back soon.
We're glad you guys are being safe, and we're glad that you're keeping us one alt tab away.
Thank you, and I'm glad. It seems like you're all being safe and being home, and everyone should be home. Just as long as we're talking about it, please just be home. If for whatever reason, I understand you have to be at work and have to go to work, just be safe, and then don't screw around. Don't just go to work and go home. And order online. If you can, order your groceries online, order your supplies online. There's lots of services: Instacart, Safeway, Amazon all delivers food, Amazon delivers supplies. Just play it safe. There's no reason. Your health and everyone's health is far more important than having to go feel like you need to get a burrito. This is not a terrible sacrifice to have to ask from everybody. And I saw a nice quote that says, don't go out with the mindset of keeping yourself safe. Go out, assume that you're sick, and go out with the mindset that you're infected and you want to keep everyone else safe, because that's really what it's about. You may have it, I may have it, and don't even know it. Yeah, this is important. I see too many people taking it too lightly.
All these kids in Florida
it very seriously. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Or some governors saying just do whatever, and people in Tennessee bars, or was it Kentucky or Tennessee bars, people being obstinate. Just everyone be safe.
Yeah.
So
my best advice is to check the CDC's website for their recommendations.
Yes,
because they're probably the most stable and reliable source of information out there.
Use the CDC, not internet memes. There's so much bullshit information going on out there that I see online that people say, oh, just do this. My favorite, we were just talking about Geraldo Rivera saying, hold your breath for 10 seconds. And if you can hold it, you don't have coronavirus. It's like, what an irresponsible ass to say something like that. And I don't really care that I say that publicly, because that is just ridiculously irresponsible. So be safe. Just and use and check the CDC websites and similar sites like that, as opposed to whatever someone on Facebook or some Facebook meme or some independent anybody. Don't trust me, right?
Go to CDC.
Trust the CDC, right?
Yeah. You know, last night I watched, or 2 nights ago, I watched the film Contagion.
Because it's trending.
That's just not smart.
It's
not smart to watch movies like that right
now.
No,
you know what though? It's really eerie how really realistic that film is. I mean, just the parallels between the film and what's happening now is just really eerie. So it's a high anxiety film given today's what's happening around the globe right now in this pandemic. But it's also a little bit of a a warning, so to speak, of, listen to the government, listen to the CDC. Let me be
Yeah,
a little, let me be a
CDC,
little
not
more,
the government,
let me
right?
be a little more specific there. Yeah, listen to the
Like,
CDC or the World Health Organization, but stay calm, stay distant, and I think we've been talking behind the scenes here at Priority One on how to, maintain that sense of community. Netflix, for instance, there's the Netflix Party extension for Google Chrome that allows you to watch virtually anything on Netflix as a party. So
you should watch TNG. Oh my god.
I know. Actually, I was thinking maybe later tonight we can all get on and watch that episode of Voyager with the macrovirus.
I just watched that the other day. I quite enjoyed that. Yes.
So maybe later,
Or a phage episode.
Or a
you know, where all
phage
the faces are
episode.
falling off, yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I'm sad that it only works on Chrome. It's the only platform that it works on. Hopefully they'll extend that to other platforms.
Yeah.
It'll also work on the Chrome-based Edge, but that's basically Chrome.
Oh, yeah. Now, yeah, I watch on.
Can we watch the episode
Apple
where the
TV.
doctor cures the phage? Because that would give me hope.
Yes, we can watch that one. So we can't live stream that because of copyright issues, but we can all.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
Yeah, we can participate.
But you can live stream your reactions to it.
Yes, we could all
Yes,
just
you
be.
can be talking about it while everyone else can be party watching that.
Right.
Um,
So keep an eye on our social media, Priority One Podcast or Priority One Pod on Facebook and Twitter, and keep an eye out because we'll do, little events like that just kind of help keep us all together as we are keeping our distance from each other physically. So, all right, why don't we jump into Measure of Morality Part 2, shall we?
Part 2. And of course, where can they watch Part 1?
Part 1 is now available to all the Star Trek community on all of our platforms. You can catch it on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, even Instagram. I had managed to figure out how to do Instagram Live and broadcast it out. So that's already out there. And then Friday, we have the first part of the interview, the audio-only interview, that is already available to our patrons. But if you wanted to wait, it'll be out on Friday. So be sure to subscribe to Priority One Podcast on whatever platform you get your podcast from on your phone.
So Part 1 is available to everyone for free on YouTube and other platforms, right?
Already. Yep, it's already out there.
And this Part 2 will be behind a paywall, though, right?
This Part 2, what we're doing right now, is live right now. It's everybody.
Oh,
Everybody's, we're live.
Paywall.
No paywall.
Paywall.
No paywall.
Yes, the paywall is
We'll have
the
a talk
ads
about
you
it.
have to endure before you get to the video.
No paywall. I'm actually putting it in a lockbox.
There you go.
Put it in a Phoenix.
It's going to be in a Phoenix box.
Now you are a man.
I said, put it in a lockbox.
It's funny. It's funny you say now you're a mech, because Allie and I are rewatching Arrested Development, and we just watched the episode. Did you ever watch that? Did you ever watch Arrested Development?
No, I
No,
very
it's
little.
It's good. It's good.
Oh, it's so good.
Great show.
All right.
I don't like anti-hero shows and I have trouble with shows where everyone is terrible.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Oh well, don't watch Avenue 5.
Oh, that too. Yeah, Avenue 5.
It's so funny though.
It's not the greatest show out there, but it makes me laugh enough that I keep
I would
watching.
just love Hugh Laurie so much.
No, like I
I
can't
like
watch
the cast. Yeah, the cast is awesome.
like I can't watch Arrested Development. I can't watch Always Sunny, and I can't. I didn't watch. I mean, I did watch Breaking Bad, and like Breaking Bad is a fantastic show, but I didn't like it. And I mean that like it was a great show. But I like every character. I couldn't care less what happened to them. I couldn't care less if they died or something because like yeah, they should die. They were terrible.
Yes, you're like, you're
So
pretty
I can't
crappy
really get
person.
behind the anti-hero. Like I love Walking Dead, which now after watching it for 10 years, I'm completely prepared for this day. But I love it because they're not. I mean, they are good people or bad people who've gone through a transformation and become good people, and they're just trying to do whatever they can to do the right thing, and so it's about them overcoming this adversity, even if they do bad things sometimes, but they're trying to do the right thing, and so I'm not a big fan of the anti-hero.
Do you watch Better Call Saul, the spinoff from Breaking Bad?
I watched a couple episodes and lost interest.
Okay.
All right. Look at
Are we
Cat
playing
and
this
the
mission
Serena.
together?
Let's make this happen.
That's what
damn
I'm
it.
trying.
Oh,
Let's
well,
see.
hold on. I'm injured. I need to go to the med bay real fast.
Oh.
I'm like, I just
Medic.
tried to play some
Now-
TFO and got killed.
Now I'm
a lot.
curious. Can you guys see the chat? Because I'm sharing it
Can
on
see
Zoom.
chat.
Yeah. Okay.
I can see chat.
It's a little small, but I'm wondering if maybe I can make it bigger. That way, everybody can see each other chatting.
What? How do I have no injuries?
That is much better.
Really just. Oh.
We'll
All right,
do
I'm
that.
ready.
Cool.
I'm
We're
not
we're
injured
live,
anymore.
right? We
Yeah,
are
we-
live chatting, right?
We're live right
Okay.
now, chatting. Yeah. So everybody that's chatting here right now is live and watching us live right now.
Also, hey Panda and Hazy.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. Be sure
Yeah,
to
thank
share.
you,
Hit that.
everyone.
Tell
Oh, Jason
I
Smith.
think I'll
too.
hit that. Maybe I'll go. And I should probably tweet that.
Yeah,
out.
go
Do you have a? Do
tweet.
you have a? Did you tweet it on Party One?
It's it should automatically be playing. Yeah, on Twitter.
Oh, let me tweet that out.
It should be our most recent post should be this live stream right now.
Are you excited? No, that's not it. Sorry, Sony Pictures. What's this? Ah, here it is.
All right. While Al's doing that, let's load up this mission. And there's going to be some voiceover work, and let's see.
Looks like the Excalbians are ready to resume the trials. As you know, our participation is required, whether we like it or not. Under the circumstances, keeping them waiting isn't wise.
All right, going back to the Tralius system.
Hold on. Let me get this mission.
Did it share with you? I know at part 1. I wonder if part 2 allows you to have friends.
But by the way, I was thinking about that.
Just have something we didn't get to make happen, but we want to.
Well, I want to look very carefully at the beam down menu because there is a way you could have the mission shared and still take a bridge officer by accident instead of another player. So I want to look at that before you click.
Oh, are we beginning yet?
To be-
As far as I know, we intentionally made the episodes to be single player because when we had it as multiplayer, there was a bug that we were not able to fix, and so we decided we'll just make it single player now until we can fix it, and just haven't gotten around to fixing that bug. And now the world ended, so we'll see if we'll get around to it after the world comes.
It's on the
back to life.
back burner.
It's on the back burner right now. Yeah, the intention is for that to be able to you play it with a friend.
Okay, I am here. Are we starting?
Okay, yeah, let's start. Begin.
You started.
Lorca, yeah.
I see.
No,
It looks
Elijah.
like it might.
Yeah, your drop downs at the top allow you to select whether another player goes or whether a boff goes.
Oh, wait, are you supposed to select me? Oh, okay.
All right, like that.
Is it going to work?
I don't
Because it
know.
might have.
hope
Maybe
so.
someone fixed it. I was told it wasn't fixed. We'll see. I know it was intended to, or maybe we'll find the bug that we were supposed to.
Nope.
Nope.
Cat's not with me.
Nope.
That's a
Oh,
shame.
man. Oh, wait.
Sorry.
Wait.
You gonna look for the axe though?
I'm here.
No. Are you solo?
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, it looks like you're solo.
Oh, man. That's a bummer.
It shows you like near me, or rather, like you're still on my team.
I
but-
must be in yeah, I'm in another instance. All right.
Oh well. Then
Yeah, I thought it was up in there. The axe. I haven't had a chance to look into that.
I don't know that we ever heard from the community on whether anybody found it.
I don't think so either.
There was a tree stump with it in, and they'd moved it around a couple times. Maybe they took it out. But keep looking anyway.
All right. Not now. All right, let's see what Yarnik's got to say.
Things in the trials. Your actions have given us much to consider, but we require more data.
All right.
Rock lobster.
Rock lobster. I think this has gone on long enough, Yarnik. Release us.
You can remove yourself from the trials if you so desire. I believe you are aware of the consequences such an action will bring.
Yes, you've been quite clear on that.
Then, if you wish to proceed, the portal awaits.
We know the drill, Yarnik.
The next trial lies this way.
Look at you leaping through the
This
portal.
is incredible. The architecture, the technology, the art. It's not like anything I've ever seen before. Where are we?
This is ancient Iconia. During the war, I was part of a mission sent here through time.
The Excalbians have dropped us into another planetary assault by the look of things. There's a battle site ahead. We might be able to learn more about our surroundings by examining it.
Agreed. Keep your eyes open for hostile forces, though. We don't want them getting the drop on us.
So, interview from IO9, interview of Sonequa Martin Green, dropped today. I tweeted that out. Check it out. Sonequa is a really wonderful, joyous, happy person, and it was a real joy to work with her. And she said some really wonderful things about us. So thank you, Sonequa, and please everyone get a chance to read the article. There are more coming out, at least one more coming out soon.
Nice.
But IO9 is live today.
Oh, nice.
Oh, very nice.
All right, let's see. Let's see what this person... Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there.
Technically, you can click on all of them. They're the same.
Yeah.
Fascinating. According to my tricorder, these soldiers are from extinct species. The Dinoceans and the Ichabar.
That's right. They were part of a force that attacked here to acquire tech the Iconians withheld from them.
That's the
This is the
second
fall of
fascinating.
Iconia.
Every
We might
fascinating
be
was
able
her
to stop the
ad-libbing,
chain of
putting that
events
in.
eventually lead to the
So
war.
that was nice.
Considering the previous trials, I can see that as the pivotal event we were sent here to encounter.
I think you're right. Let's see what else we can find here.
That last hit wasn't far from here.
I can
So,
have heavy gunfire nearby.
Did she
Keep
see
your weapons handy.
like a map like this beforehand? I remember you saying last time that she saw some assets.
She saw every previs of all the cutscenes.
Oh, okay.
I sent to her, so she got to see the cutscenes, not any of the particular gameplay footage. And she was very much into it, so I really appreciate it. She was very excited by that and watched
fighting
every
ahead.
cutscene and read every script ahead of
Wait.
time. She was really
Are
prepared.
those Iconians?
Was the level of engagement from her more than you get from other voice actors?
I would say so. I would say that the Discovery cast in general, their level of engagement has been higher than most. Maybe it's partly because the characters are still fresh in their heads and they're still playing those characters, and they're just really young and excited about everything that's happening to them. I would say that Sonequa herself, though, was probably the most engaged of any actor that I've worked with. Just really excited about what she was doing, and you have to consider this too. I mean, she's also, she's the star of the show. She could go completely arrogant and pig-headed about these, about this and her position, but she was just completely down to earth and really into everything that she was doing, asking questions. We talked to her ahead of time, like a week before the session, and reading the script and having suggestions, and so she was really into it, far above and beyond what most, if not all. So we all really enjoyed working with her.
I think that's
super
great 'cause
super nice person, just unbelievable.
I think
I
that's
do
awesome
not
because whenever
recognize
people are
your
that engaged,
species,
the product
But you have
benefits
taken up
from it, the
arms
end
to
result.
defend Iconia. That makes you
Yeah, I mean,
an ally. And
Like
your
Reika Sharma
assistance
was
is
too. I mean,
appreciated.
what's great about Reika that
You
she
have my
she wants to come on site, and so she was able to give such a great performance because she was there on site, and then she was able to see the latest videos, and we were able to then go back and forth every time she wanted to before we record a scene, we could rewatch the videos with her, and so she was really into it too. That whole Discovery cast has been such a very different experience. So I've been really enjoying working with them. They are super professional and just all super kind, super just nice people.
That's awesome. Because I feel like some of them have, not Discovery, but some of the more seasoned actors have kind of become a little jaded with the whole thing, and so
yeah, there have been some in either just at conventions or in VO sessions who are certainly not nearly as engaged, maybe jaded, or that's just a job or a gig for them,
right.
Or they, some of them has been 20 plus years since they've worked that role and they're doing other things, and this is just another gig for them. And for the Discovery cast, this is launching their career, and they're getting all this attention, and they're just really excited about what they're doing and leaving their mark, and so they're really engaged. And I mean, it's more than just the cast too, because the behind the scenes casting managers and writers are working with us to make sure that these characters are being portrayed properly. We're working schedulings out with their casting managers, and they're just all really engaged. So it's been a really different experience and a great experience working with this crew. Hopefully on the other shows we'll have just a similar level of engagement.
I see a Nick DeGid in the chat.
Nick DeGid. I'm just going to rearrange my chat box here. All right, cool. All right.
I love this map of Iconia. This is so cool.
Thanks to you as well, newcomers. Our situation is quite dire. Mtara, our leader, has fallen. Iconia will soon be lost to our enemies. We must withdraw. We were trying to reach a nearby gateway when those soldiers attacked. Their reinforcements could arrive at any moment. Will you help us once again?
Or Cylon. Yeah, whichever one. We will do what we can.
Think they sound like Cylons. So the thing about Iconians is that, they're kind of modeled as all female, but they're also kind of androgynous.
Right.
I don't think we've ever really specifically said what gender they are, or if they're just a different kind of gender. So it's whatever you want to think it is.
Which means it's good enough for Riker.
You're not wrong. And thank you for going there.
Wow, this Iconian set is
Riker don't care.
Pretty intense.
I always see Le Mirren, and that's like the Helen Mirren of the Iconians to me.
This whole just like all the other environments were remastered for this episode, and the remastered stuff is now in the old episodes as well. So this environment was updated. Of course, this one happens at night. I can't remember if the original takes place at night. I want to say it doesn't. I don't remember. Maybe Nick knows, because if he's in the chat, he can comment. I see Timber Boy.
Hold.
And
reading an energy spike in the gateway ahead.
But it has been updated significantly.
No, there will be no holding. We will fight. Slay any foe that dares to cross our path.
Once more under the breach, dear friends. Once more.
Henry V. Nice.
Now, actually, you know what? Do they ever get together, or is everything recorded separately? So, did Sonequa...
Everything is definitely recorded separately.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Timber Boy Nick DeGood said that yes, the original one was at sunset, so this one happens at night, just to switch up the environments. No, they always record separately. We do one at a time. Although we do have an upcoming piece of content that we originally had planned to do 2 people at once, but now since we can't have any people in the office, that we're probably not going to be able to do that, unfortunately.
Right.
Sad.
Yeah, very sad. Maybe in the future.
Well, if you ever need voice acting, I'm happy to just do it here in my office. Right here.
Are you SAG?
No, it's like $5,000.
Every time you get asked that. I'm telling you, dude, all you have to do is be in a couple commercials in New York. You could probably pull it off pretty easily.
What the heck just happened?
You're SAG for about 6 months.
All right, we're all taking bets now to see if Elijah can stay alive for this encounter.
Oh, totally.
It's a challenging. This is a challenging fight. The next one after this is probably the hardest ground fight that we've had. In the game.
Yeah, these were awesome.
These were hard.
Yeah, these were great.
They kept
That
kept tuning him
energy is
down, but
protecting
I'm
the
not sure if we
demon.
tuned them down just
I can
quite enough.
disable the
Were
gate.
you
I
able
don't think
to
you needed
stop
to.
that,
I think this was
but I
great. It
need
was nice
time.
to feel mortal in the game again.
I mean, it was supposed to feel epic for sure. Were you able to figure out what you needed to do? Just curious on this in this encounter.
You fought a war with the
What do you mean? I thought I
Iconians
just had to
and survived?
hit that console every once in a while.
We actually spent a lot of time trying to work on the messaging for this one. It was a little bit of a challenge. People having to know what you need to do, and that that Taket is invulnerable until that moment. Don't waste your time shooting her and wait for Lamirin to activate the console and don't die. No, the bet's looking really good. I'm taking 2-1. Oh, little shield came back.
I'm getting laggy.
For those listening, one of the things that I've seen, I mentioned this the last recording. A lot of people asked. Obviously, if you were assuming that if you're watching this, that you've played this episode before and know what's going to happen. But people wondering, well, how is it possible that when future Taket comes through and she kills regular Taket, that how could it possible? I said, well, this isn't time travel. You are not back 200,000 years ago in time. These are just all constructs, and so you were seeing just like you see Seven and then Borgified 7 of 9. That there's two versions of them. There is a version of good Taket and a version of evil future Taket here. This is not time travel, but it's meant to be symbolic that you see evil Taket kill her past, her quote-unquote past good self, as basically just saying that she's destroying anything left that's good within her at that point. So it's not. This isn't time travel and time loops. I mean, because Iconians we know can't travel in time, so it's just a test. It's a play.
This is their version of a holodeck.
The gateway is restored.
It's basically their version of a holodeck. It's not really a holodeck because it's these beings are real, but they they're not holograms per se. But yes, their version of it is a simulation, and it is like a holodeck for them.
Hollow Rick would be really insulted with you by what you just said right now.
Hollow Rick. I'm taking 3-1 odds.
Gonna make it.
Make it. Is ready. Use the console in front.
To be fair, this is distracting to have
yes.
Lots of people watching them and the actual game developer watching you. Let's see what's
Stand next to the EMH. He's your only hope. I saw him spawn.
Why am I getting my...
The gateway is ready.
At the same time, trying to host a podcast and stay alive. Good job so far. Oh, he popped something.
Man.
Uh-oh.
That was close.
Oh, good job. That was good.
Oh, man.
But someone on the other side
Man,
is powering it back
that
up.
was close.
Defend yourselves.
Pro tip, take out those portals as soon as you can so those little guys don't keep popping
I'm getting
out.
my connections a little laggy.
Get a little lag.
Uh-oh.
No, not looking good.
Uh-oh.
No. Oh, he's back. He's watching that green
Blamed
bar.
the lag.
Dude, it's serious.
It's a hard. Oh, it's definitely going to be in that big white splat. We all saw that coming. He walked right in the splat, and you did walk into that one. You only had yourself to blame for that one.
Part of me was hoping he had one of those abilities where you come back to life after you die the first time.
The trait.
'Cause then the death wouldn't have counted.
Well, there's a trait that pings you back, but then you just die a few seconds later. Oh, you only had a few more seconds to last. I love this cutscene.
My life is not yours to take, Vermin.
Weston had to film himself actually being thrown up against a wall to get that animation.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
Honored mistress,
We have a viewer from Argentina. Hello.
Yes, you certainly will.
You did not mute yourself for that.
Okay, I just yelled at my dog because she's in the other room barking at something.
Weston's twitchy eye that he made for Hakeem there.
Resistance is futile.
Nice.
Sister,
I
what have you done? No, you can't.
Your knowledge belongs to us now. That does not belong to you, creature! We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own.
Man, that lady gets a lot of voice work from you.
Are the Borg. Existence as you know it is over.
Yeah, that was a killer cutscene.
It was a really good cutscene. That was something that, for a long time, I wanted to figure out how we can get a Borgified Iconian into the game. But so this was a great opportunity for us to do it without actually saying that the Iconians got assimilated. It's like the ultimate terrifying bad guy.
What did she become?
They're called a Borg.
Notice the in the contact dialogue here, looking at Lamarin. That one thing that Weston is doing is just making custom animations for characters. You've been seeing it. You first maybe saw it on Garrick on Victory's Life, but now he's even adding it for characters like this. So when she has her head down low and she's more sad. And sullen. It's adding a lot of life and emotion to even the contact dialogues.
Yeah.
Every one of them being custom.
Is that? Wait a minute! It just dawned on me. The green portal.
Yeah, it's green because you're going to the Borg.
Oh, I thought you were doing a little homage to Rick and Morty.
No, it's not Rick and Morty. It's not St. Patrick's Day either. It's just it's.
Can it be all three?
Gee, Rick.
Oh, gee, Rick.
Oh, gee.
When are we gonna get the rest of season 4?
Oh,
no, that's it's now open a door to a Borg world.
That's what you guys could do. You know how you have the special UI effects on April Fool's Day? Maybe on St. Patrick's Day, you could force everybody's UI to be green.
I need to switch to Mako.
Kind of awesome.
Maybe adapted Mako.
Oh, I can't wait for April Fool's Day. We love our artisanal sounds.
You love the artisanal sounds.
Yes.
We got a few other little silly things coming out too this year for.
Awesome.
Hopefully they'll be out in time.
A bunch of our fleet, they all talk about artisanal sounds. They all love it. They're like, I wish we could have artisanal sounds all the time.
It's crazy how silly
Something
idea
is
that
amiss,
was.
my friends. The trial has taken a life of its own, expanding well beyond its original parameters. Though I implored Yarnik and his ilk to bring the trial to an end, they have refused. They wish to see how you address this new crisis.
I'm not surprised.
Tread lightly. There is an ill wind blowing upon this venture. I fear one that may consume us all before the end.
Thank you for the information, sir.
These Borg, are they an evolution of control?
That's a really good question, don't you think?
Yeah, fascinating.
Unlikely. The Borg Collective existed well before the creation of Control, although when you add temporal manipulation into the equation... No, I already have a headache, and temporal mechanics will only make it worse.
Agreed. Something you'd like to add, Commander?
7. What we saw on Esau 4, your detailed knowledge of the Borg. You used to be one of them, didn't you?
Yeah. I was assimilated by the Borg at a young age and liberated by the crew of the USS Voyager later in life. The assimilation process is reversible, mostly, but it leaves scars. Inside and out.
I'm sorry that happened to you. And I'm sorry to ask this now. Are we going to have a problem here? With you and the Borg? Under the circumstances, I can see how you could become emotionally compromised.
This isn't the first time I've run into Borg since my liberation, and I doubt it'll be the last. I'll be fine, Commander. If it makes you feel any better, if I go native here, you have permission to shoot me.
Fair enough. Thanks.
I was saying how
Any advice on fighting the Borg?
when we first played the mission and we reviewed it on the show, I was saying how 7 feels a lot now like she's got that tonality of Grayson? Is that her name on the Orville?
The
Kelly?
first officer.
Yeah.
Kelly, I think. her
Kelly,
name is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's a lot more. I think she's a much more pissed off and burnt off than Kelly from Orville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Combat with the Borg is likely. We need frequency remodulators. Tell me
No,
when you
I
want
don't.
to proceed, and I can open the force field
I think
ahead. Don't
Seven's
forget to
seen a
equip with frequency
lot of
remodulators.
shit in the years, and she's just really she's burnt. She's struggling with humanity.
Oh crap.
All right, taking bets.
All right.
He's gonna die twice.
I'll bet you an epic prize token that I won't die.
Enhancing an Iconium with cybernetics a bit excessive?
Borg
Love that
101,
line,
better
too.
assimilation through cybernetics. Watch out, they're energizing
This is a hard ground fight. This is a
Oh,
very hard ground fight.
It's even worse when you got lag. Time to become my drones. Oh shit.
Godspeed, Elijah, Crumb Tumor Boy.
Watch out for electric plating. What weapon are you using there?
I was just about to ask.
Crap.
Uh-oh. Get out.
Ooh!
Get out.
Oh, don't run in that.
Escape.
There's a
That's funny. It's spelled just like escape.
So I wonder. There's a little. I won't call it a trick, but a little thing that you may or may not notice. I'm happy to share since for the listeners. All of those ramps in the game never turn green.
Oh. Okay.
So that ramp right in front of you, you could stand on it, will never turn green.
Interesting. Good to know.
Now, it's not exactly completely a safe position, but you can stand on it and it will never electrify.
I have the high ground, Borg.
There are a few other. There are a few other plates. There are a few other plates on here that will not turn green, and that's one tip I'll give people. So there's some safe spots.
Also, kudos to Elijah for his lack of colorful metaphors.
Oh yeah. Did you tell us what weapon you're using there?
This is the adapted.
Oh! Don't stand there.
The
Gotta hand it to him. He hasn't died yet.
yeah, I know. I would have died like 7,000 times probably. by now.
It's tough. Oh.
Uh-oh. I'd have busted out my shotgun by now.
I used the new cyclic weapons on this, and it worked really well.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you were. I like those weapons
they're
too.
they're really well. They're largely designed for the Borg. So and he did it. He took out the cat.
Wow.
That.
Well done.
I found the cyclic weapons are really good for completing the personal endeavors.
They are.
Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, of course. Oh! Don't blow it now, man. He just really pulled off a Hail Mary there. Don't step on the green square. So again, this Borg map, I don't know if anyone remembers the amount of work that Scott put into remastering these Borg maps was epic. If anyone remembers, you might even be able to pull up an old Let's Play video or screenshot of what these used to look like. The lighting is completely different. The materials are very different. These look way better than what they used to. And it's just another example of what the artists are doing through whenever we take an opportunity to make new content, that we try to take old content and bring it up to standard, so that way not only do we have new content going forward like this, but it then takes an opportunity to make the whole game better as a whole. And this is a really good example of what the environment team has been doing towards that. A lot of this map is really different. And the thing is that a lot of people don't notice, and that's
I don't like
kind
where
of
this
good.
is heading.
Because
The
if
Borg,
and I love
they're
it from
relentless.
Futurama, if you've done
The
something
longer
right,
the
people
Borg
won't
have to
know that
build
you've
their
done
forces
anything
and
at all.
strengthen
It
their
just
position, the harder
it just
it'll be to
feels
undo
good.
their plans.
But check out some old videos of this map, and you can see the huge difference in the quality of the materials and the lighting that the art team put into this. This
Actually,
also has been updated on Into the Hive. This map is also it was remastered for Into the Hive, so as well as that whole TFO. So that's definitely one worth checking out. Everyone should check out because it's so much better experience.
So now that Picard has updated the look of the Borg cube, do you guys feel any desire or urge to go back and kind of do another pass over on these things?
Well, the reason why we started doing a lot of Borg stuff in general, starting in December or whenever, or early January, I guess, it was because that Picard was doing a lot. So we did a Borg Lockbox and a Borg TFO, and we certainly introduced the Borg into this episode. So we did a lot of updating to Borg, and there's a lot. It's that Golden Gate Bridge that I love talking metaphor that I keep talking about.
Yeah.
So whether or not we do more Borg going forward, I don't know, or I do know and won't say. But if we have that opportunity to do that, we will then, we certainly
I am
will
designated 7 of 9, tertiary adjunct of Unimatrix 01. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
This is a great little cutscene that Weston put together. It's kind of reminiscent of
First Contact, right?
First Contact, yes.
This room has automated defenses. Watch where they're targeting.
There was a bug in this map for, I guess, almost 10 years since it's been out, that center piece, this little rotating thing, didn't have any targeting collision. So for the longest time when we were building this and Into the Hive, we were trying to figure out why we were dying constantly, because everything seemed fine. This is really not a particularly hard battle, and realized that 7 was shooting us through that center piece right there. Because she's got this chain lightning attack, and it was just going right through that and hitting us, and going right through it and hitting our other bridge officers and just wiping out. And realized there was collision, there was physical collision, but there was no targeting collision. So players can't target through it, but critters can. They just target whatever they want. And so they were just shooting us through there. And so that had been broken for 10 years, and so that is now fixed, and not a problem anymore. So the interesting things you find.
I'm like, I just keep running around in circles when I get to this part of the map. Like, don't target me, don't target me.
Which is great, but that was what we were doing too. But they kept targeting us because they kept shooting us straight through, through that data core.
Yeah, I'm like, I probably died a lot too, but I'm like, just keep running.
I'm trying to figure out when the assimilated ability works and when it doesn't work. Like,
so when they get in melee, if they inject you with the nanites while you're in melee, you then have this DOT on you that you can cleanse, but stays on you for a long time. And if you die in that time, you get assimilated.
No. I'm talking about the power for me to assimilate them.
You mean that new thing that you have to assimilate them to turn them to your side?
Yeah, this power. Yeah.
The new power. I don't know.
Like
that's fairly new.
When does it work
on Borg?
Sometimes it depends on the mission. Like, it's not working here, but
that was thoroughly unpleasant.
And it doesn't work on the buff.
Pass from time to time, but it usually doesn't shoot back.
Well, if you get a system designer, they can probably tell you exactly how that works. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly how that works.
The thought of them both running free makes me very uncomfortable.
Any plan on bringing Starbase 24, breaking the planet Romulan Temple? No immediate plan for bringing those back. We would just be rebuilding them completely from scratch. It's not a priority right now. So, but Donnie, don'ts. Don'ts or don'ts? Donnie don'ts.
Punctuation is important.
This is a great little part of the map because it's if you just hang back like you're doing, you can just have a lot of fun just as a shooting gallery taking these guys out. But if you decide to be Leroy Jenkins and you just run right through it, you'll just get decimated. So because they'll just all wake up.
Leroy.
And this is a great one because a lot of people will just not notice these guys behind you. So actually, we had Soniqua specifically yell that out to let you know, because some people just go right for the door and they all appear behind you.
Oh, nice.
It's as you watch new players play, you can see them do things like that.
They're calling from inside the cube.
So this whole thing started when we started making this. We originally we didn't have very early did not have a plan for it to be 7 of 9 be the Borg Queen. That was something that did come later. So originally it was the Borg Queen that would be, that she obviously she planned this from the beginning. She's the one who tricks Hakeem because he's a gullible tard in the beginning, and assimilates him, and then is able to use that to assimilate to Ket, and basically that's what she needs. Like, she starts realizing as the Borg Queen that this is not real, but she can make it real if she can. This is a Professor Moriarty kind of thing that we're going for here, that these holograms, as you said, these simulations, then she's so intelligent, becomes sentient. But what she needs is she needs the Iconian technology. She needs the world heart, and that when she has that, she has everything she needs to flip the simulation on its end. And then she was going to give her monologue when you go and see her here. Then when we had the idea, let's just make it 7 of 9 be the Borg Queen, and then that would be that would be awesome. And so as we did that, we still had the Borg Queen's dialogue, in which explaining her monologue, explaining her plan, which we heard earlier in the hallway when she was explaining it when you came into 7 of 9's chamber. She was explaining what happened. So at this point, the player still assumes that the Borg Queen is the bad guy, and now you're going to face her, and then of course you see her dead body there, and then not know what happens, and then we reveal that it's 7 of 9. A few players commented they didn't realize that was 7 of 9
picking up a lot of energy
down.
spikes in the next room.
But
it could be weapons fire.
That is 7 of 9, Borg Queen 7 of 9 coming down there, and she kills the Borg Queen. She usurps her and takes her place.
That's
the original Borg Queen.
The Borg Queen. Indeed. This is damn peculiar. If the Excalbians killed her, where are they now? Be careful. Whatever did this could still be around, and it might not be friendly.
Stay sharp.
Not sure if this is better or worse than what Control had planned.
Pretty sure it's worse, but I'm a little biased.
Oh, nice walking effect. Like, Weston just knows how to be cinematic.
He does.
Weston is awesome. I love the facial expressions, the eyes when where you're like, what? when you see the Herc the first time. I love that scene.
So good.
Inferior to me in every way.
Inferior to you? You're a pathetic copy of me hiding behind a legion of drones. You're weak.
Tell me, why have you come here?
Sorry, Picard, we did it first.
Yeah.
You're smart.
I just realized you guys modeled the triangle nodes in the ceiling of the cube.
The little interlinked nodes or something.
Yeah. That's good paying attention to detail. I love that.
They're actually in a lot of the early. There's actually a piece of content where you have to destroy them. I think a TFO.
Watch the floor.
These notes up here.
Yeah, from the original TNG episode where you see the Borg.
I think Elijah might figure out how it is you get assimilated.
Hey Elijah, can you assimilate the Borg Queen?
No.
Because that would be fun.
I don't know. Somebody assimilated like.
Let's hope someone in systems did their job and make sure that doesn't happen.
And now they have a cybernetic dinosaur.
Shooting now, xenobiology later, Commander.
Cue the Gorn puns.
We certainly dug deep into a lot of different things that the Borg have. Even 7 of 9 is based off of if somebody's in the chat remembering, we have a TFO with a assimilated character whose name I can't remember the name. She floats and hovers, has electricity powers. That's basically the powers that are that 7 of 9 is based is based off of. But she doesn't hover, but she has those lightning powers, electricity powers. And so of course we had to bring back the cybernetic.
More automated defenses are coming online.
There's once you defeat the Borg Queen, there is this one cutscene that is from the original that we weren't able to update. Basically, when her torso, when she separates from her torso, separates from her body, it's still very old. This cutscene here is still a very old cutscene. But one day we'll get to update it.
My victory is inevitable.
Still not. It's not bad, but it's old school.
That's... How is she still functional?
There's so much more to me than you could possibly imagine.
I love Jerry Ryan Borg Queen.
So
her voice
when
is
you guys
great.
talked with her about this, did you how much of a conversation did you have about the actual episode, right? When she
Well, she didn't discuss the details of the episode, but we, as I mentioned in the last video, we talked that we had discussed making her the Borg Queen.
Was her reaction again?
No. I mean, she didn't know about the history, but she we had discussed it, and then later we found out that was going to be a thing on the show. We didn't know the details of it whatsoever, but we knew it was going to happen. And then when she saw the script, and so we didn't have the script. I love this. I just see this cutscene. It's like the snarkiest best scene from Jerry.
It will be your undoing.
Really? Whose ass just got kicked again?
I just got to give kudos to Paul for that one.
You are done.
So like again, we didn't know the details, and so when we gave the script to Jerry, she actually had a lot to say about how she would talk as the Borg Queen, because we had no idea how we didn't have that script and certainly hadn't seen anything. So she was able to basically.
I'm glad you're still with us, my friends.
Relied on her to
I'll
bring
ask
that
you to come
life
with me
and adjust how she said things. As I mentioned before, working with New 7 was probably the hardest thing to work with, because we hadn't. The only thing that we had seen from Picard version 7 was the same trailer that everybody saw. We did have some script pages to work with, but they were old script pages, and so we were just winging it. And so a lot of it was just was Paul interpolating that, and then Jerry Ryan kind of bringing what she how explaining how this would be would play out. So that's why we had conversation with her ahead of time. Right. So that was a new experience for us, and because we were kind of flying blind a little bit but Jerry brought it, and it works and sounds just like her. So it's definitely very different than OG 7 of 9, right? OG 7.
Bye, Borg Queen.
So this was a late addition too. We were just going to have you go and talk to him. There'd be a summary, and then you go up into space. And it says, "No, this feels like let's just have just this kind of King of the Hill moment." We added that here. What I really wanted to do was just have everybody coming through would be assimilated. So you'd have assimilated, Romulans and assimilated whoever that was coming through. That's coming through the portals. But then we figured, well, everyone would then be a Borg, and they all look different. They all play the same, but they look different. So we then decided, let's just leave them as they are. We didn't really have the art time, and that way everyone would play different at this moment. And if you notice right now, Lincoln has his hat on.
Those troops are coming from previous trials.
Now he has his hat off. Because now he is like business Lincoln.
Oh, business.
Lincoln Borg Slayer.
Yes.
Yeah. Did we find the stump with the axe on it yet?
I'm gonna have to ask David where it is because I thought it was. Maybe it's on this map now.
I feel like I remember seeing it when I played, but it's been a little while.
Are you? If you're still listening, Timber Boy, where did Dave? I thought David had a stump in here with the axe in it on this map, and we can't find it. I don't know if you know if he took it out or if we just didn't find it.
I wasn't paying attention.
After
Man.
all that,
You get taken out by the not cool. What?
Not cool. Not cool. What? How did I get thrown up here?
What are you?
Hey, I got an accolade.
Nice.
I don't know what
What's that for?
I don't know.
7 kills ago.
7 kills ago? Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's
They're sending in more reinforcements.
that would be Ryan Levitt, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Levitt is the king of puns and loves to put things like that in the game.
Well, yay. I love those things.
He was the one who suggested my favorite one is if we have Sean and Brunch and what other Jeffrey Combe characters, Wei Yun, put them all in an episode and call it Game of Combs.
Oh, yes. That would be amazing.
Safety measures were in place. The participants should not be able to escape the trial areas or pursue agendas separate from the trials.
You said it yourself. Evil doesn't follow the rules. Nothing is sacred, even the life of its creator.
The Borg Queen of our creation is amassing greater power. This includes the assimilation of this planet and everything on it. We must consider our alternatives while there is still time.
There's no time for debate, Yarnik. We need to take action now. Meow.
Wash your hands.
Borg octahedron just appeared in orbit. Our sensors can't seem to determine where it came from. It just appeared out of thin air. Understood. Tell the transporter room to beam us up on my mark.
We should take care of that Borg ship while we can.
Indeed. Will you be joining us, Commander? Yes. Beam me up. Let's take this legendary Savi for a spin.
So did anyone predict? Did anyone expect what happened in this space fight? I was hoping that'd be a nice little surprise for everyone to see. I love watching the reactions on some Let's Play videos.
Oh, the hero reveal,
the ultimate cavalry.
I mean, once it started to happen, I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Difficult to say.
It was pretty great.
Yeah, I'm like every minute, I was like, "Oh my god!"
It was that was one of. What's that?
We made the comparison on the show that it was a lot like the end game moment on your left.
Yes,
and all
yes.
the heroes coming.
It was one of those. When you're creating a story or a mission like this, there are certain things that you think about. That what are the pinnacle moments going to be? What do you want to happen here? And that was one of the really early moments that we wanted in this episode. We didn't necessarily know where the episode was going and what it was going to be, but we knew at the end fight we wanted to be joined by
here we go.
By all the hero ships. And that's where we had,
You know you can't win, and yet you stand ready to die at point.
My ship is so pretty.
Your arrogance is impressive. Annoying, but impressive.
Arrogance.
My ship?
Is it arrogance you hear, or a statement of inevitable fact? Perhaps now your opinion has changed. Perhaps now you realize the future.
We've talked about we might want to update this Section 31 ship with the new one that we released. That's live now.
Looks
the one
like
with
you
the
can use a
swarmers.
hand here.
Yeah.
I hope you
just
don't
updated.
mind.
It's the only
But
one
I
we had at the
brought some
time, but now we could
friends.
update it.
This is Captain Jonathan Archer of the Starship Enterprise. Prepare to attack. All hands battle stations.
So this was actually
Let's make sure
quite a
history never
chore,
forgets.
trying to
Name,
find the right
Enterprise.
VO clips we wanted.
There's an old saying. Fortune
From
favors
these,
the
what were some of the classics that we liked? The one from Picard was one we definitely knew we wanted, as well as the Fortune favors the bold one was one of my favorites from Cisco.
Still think
The
resistance
TNG
is
quote is
futile?
from an
Your
alternate timeline, isn't
Majesty?
it?
That does happen to be from the alternate timeline. So there's this website where we get a lot of VO. We don't get the VO clips from them, but someone has a transcript every line of every Star Trek episode, so we use that to kind of find things sometimes. So and then we can request from CBS, can you send us the because they have the VO. They can just send us the actual lines directly from. They just pull it from the show, so we get the nice clean audio.
Amazing.
But they were, yeah. So they can get us those lines. You see, Timelines does that too, like a lot of stuff. So as Timelines and other games, start requesting them, they end up building a library of quotes that are easy to fire. But some of these they didn't have. They were missing some stuff or couldn't find them in time. And so we actually Michael Henry, since they were coming over comms, he was able, our audio director, who's amazing, was able to just take it right off the show, and then do some whatever adjustments he does magically to cut out the background noise. It makes it a little tinny sounding, which was perfect for comms. So some of the stuff is ours, just kind of making it work, and some of it is direct audio pulls from CBS.
I'm curious, do you guys have access to any alternate takes or unused VO from the shows?
I guess technically we would have it, but I wouldn't know what to ask for. So
there's not a repository where you can search it.
No, I don't. It's not. I don't have full access. I literally just write them, and I say, can I get this audio clip or this sound effect from this episode at this timestamp, and they send it to me.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm fascinated by the licensing deal here.
Yeah, no, that's what we don't have is, which is hard and very, this is sad, is music. Music is always the rights of the composer, and so
absolutely.
There's that's
the
one thing I can't get. Or you gotta pay, and as a live game, you're just paying. We have to pay for Magic Carpet Ride every.
I was gonna say, but you have Magic Carpet Ride.
Yeah, we have to pay.
Yeah, but you have to pay mechanicals. You pay mechanicals on that every time.
Every time, yeah. Every time that's playing, we have to. We have to.
And the songwriter.
I'm sorry,
thanks
I played that a lot.
I know, I played it a lot too, but that's how songwriters make their money, though. That's how artists make their money.
Yeah.
That is the one TFO that I stick around the entire time to listen to as much of the track as possible.
So I wanted to get the Klingon theme song. Maybe that's too many notes already to be broadcasting. But that's just CBS does not own the rights technically, or it shares the rights or whatever. The composer has to have it, and so I have it.
You could have someone record a cover and pay mechanicals for something.
We do all kinds
that.
of yeah, but it gets expensive and complicated, and
oh yeah, administration is the worst nightmare for licensing.
Worse is because we're an online game. It's not like it's just a retail product. We're going to buy it and just whatever it is. We're broadcasting it, right? I don't understand the rights of it all, but it's definitely something that is expensive for us to do.
For sure.
So there are definitely a few Star Trek musics. I mean, yes, that's how composers make their money, but I wish they just got paid to just do a thing for Star Trek, just like an artist who sculpts does some piece of concept or sculpts a ship and says, here's the work and I commissioned it for you and it's yours. So that way CBS would own it, so that way we could use it. But that's just not how the world works, unfortunately. So
for music, no, unless you get the musicians yourself and have a work for hire.
Yeah, sure.
I keep thinking about that unused VO though, because there's probably a treasure trove of, you could probably make entire episodes out of unused footage that was never put in shows.
Well, we don't have that. I mean, I'm sure we could, but we get a lot of stuff. Like we get giant dumps of like, here's all the sound effects, and then but it's none of it's labeled. It's just 3625 AB6, and then you have to just, it doesn't say phaser from episode 2, 3 seconds. It's just you have to sort through this, just all these randomly named files.
You ever want help sorting through those? I'm your man.
Yeah, I'm sure CBS is fine with
that. All right, let's say goodbye to these characters.
This has certainly been a learning experience for me as well as the Excalians.
Sure, we could draft some type of NDA to cover something like
that. What I could have been, which makes me grateful for the life.
Wonder if we knew any lawyers that could help us.
I mean, any IP lawyers. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
That kind of stuff is literally what I did.
In the trailer system will need some final adjustments. If you can get me back to my runabout, I can finish those. I can also speak to.
It's like Friday one, like 50% lawyers.
Smuggling activity and trails.
Actually, now it's 75%.
75% lawyers. Yeah.
With me and Tony and Elijah. Yep, 70. Yeah, pretty much.
It's 50.
Let's just say our retainer is pretty high.
Yeah.
Sounds like Yarnek and his people have a lot to think about. I hope they mean it when they say they're going to pursue goodness. As for me, it's strange being, what did the Borg Queen call it? A simulacrum? A copy. And an incomplete one at that. I'm based on a Starfleet science officer.
God, I love her. I
was going to figure it out sooner or later. Now that I know, I've decided to continue what was started here today. In my own way. I've asked the Excalbians to make my transformation permanent. And they've agreed. So, for the Excalbians, the trials are over. But for me, the human adventure is just beginning.
I feel like that's the end of Hook. To live. That's an awfully big adventure.
Okay, so I'm still confused by this. So
sure.
This Burnham is now a perfect copy of the Burnham from which they copied her at whatever point in time. But what is she a simulation? Is she a creature that was turned into Burnham? Like, I don't quite get the...
Well, she is a simulacrum is what is the word we use. She is like Professor Moriarty became conscious, and if he could have walked off the holodeck, he'd be real, but he couldn't. They stuck him in a simulation in a jar and put him on a desk. But he thinks he's in a real world, or maybe he doesn't one day. But yes, so she, as a scientist, as smart as Michael Burnham is, the Excalbians make these simulacrums based on our they scan the ship, and based on our memories as well as our computer records. And so they know everything that we know about them. They don't go back in time and snatch them out. So anything that we don't know about them, then they wouldn't know either. And then make them every bit as real, and they think that they are real. And at the same time, if they are okay with, they're not shocked for being, they say, I don't know what I'm doing here. If you remember watching the original episode and they talked to Colonel Green and they said, what were you doing right before this? And he goes, I don't remember. Well, that's okay. And it's almost like they're a sleeper agent and have been programmed to not worry about that. So, but they think that they are real, and they are physically real, and they have emotions and feelings and react exactly as you would expect them to react. So they are, not much different than a Q simulation that Q might do. But just like Q, the Excalbians can make them permanent and not just turn them back into lava rock. Michael, as well as the Borg Queen, were intelligent enough to realize who they were. They were able to understand that they weren't real, that they were a simulation. And Michael basically decided that she would like to stay in this form and have this life, and she was granted that. So she is alive.
Present day, in Stowe's present day, there is an actual Michael Burnham that is a clone from her time period.
A quote unquote clone, yes, just as much as there is a now holographic Stamets. So yes, we find different clever ways to bring Discovery characters into our timeline without having to mess with Discovery continuity. And by the pitch of Elijah's voice, I suspect he has opinions. I think you mentioned something about why didn't we just do time travel or something, but I think that was you. Go on.
I don't remember, but okay, so you're saying that the Excalpians pull from records and memories, but technically we're not supposed to know anything about Burnham.
Technically, you're not supposed to know anything about Burnham a couple hundred years ago. It's been hundreds of years, and
so that's all been declassified.
It's either declassified or the records are there, but just not accessible by, say, any average Joe. If you remember in Beneath the Skin, the captain said, was able to declassify the records to be able to access Stamets's records. So the records are there; they're just classified. The Excalbians don't really care about passwords. So the record
just submit your FOIA request and Starfleet will get to it.
Yeah, so the records
they cloned an
are
IT
there.
person first to have the password reset.
Yeah. So the records haven't been expunged, or they have just been redacted and secure. Right. So they don't really care about that. So they were able to access all that. And plus, who knows what happens in season 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of Discovery.
But what you're implying is that Starfleet needs better security on their servers.
Yes.
They might need better security, but they might be up against more than they can handle for a while, right? I mean, Excalbians are near Q level power, and they're pretty omnipotent. Maybe not as much as Q. So so now Michael is a real girl, and she is now in 2409, and I definitely want to bring a lot of Discovery characters into our game. The trouble with doing that is that we can't just time travel and rip them out of Discovery. One of the challenges with Discovery, as well as Picard and all the new shows that they're making, is unlike TNG, which is very episodic, and we don't know how much time passes between one episode and another, and comics and books and games just kind of insert in any particular season this also happened. That doesn't happen in Discovery. Everything is it's serialized, and so the whole story starts from beginning to end, and we know exactly where everyone is at every minute from episode 1 to the last episode. So we can't just say, oh, also this kind of happened on the side. They happen to have this adventure in Star Trek Online, so it doesn't make any sense. And they're also very protective of it. So we're able to find try to find different clever ways, and we have a few more up our sleeves to bring Discovery characters into STO without being redundant and we just go back in time and do it. And leaving it safe, so doesn't matter what CBS might do with these characters in the future, whether they kill them or turn them evil, or we find out that they're just alien robots or something. Who knows what they might do with the characters? This is our Michael Burnham. It doesn't matter what we do with her now. Obviously, we can't do something terrible with her character as far as characterization, but it won't affect the continuity and Discovery at this point. Same with Stamets. So that's how we get around that.
When they read a script like this one, for the game, did Sonequa Martin Green know about the Excalbians? Did she go and run and watch the episode and talk about it with you guys? Same with Jerry Ryan.
Well, Jerry Ryan wasn't. I mean, we weren't doing any type of juggling with her character like we had to do with Michael Burnham. But we did meet with both of them, or on the phone, meet with them, a week or a couple weeks ahead of time, and explain the whole story about what was going on. So we let them know this is what's happened. This is what your character. This is what's weird. You're going to be talking to Lincoln. It's normal. Don't worry. That kind of stuff. And,
they still got Jefferson and Washington and a whole bunch of presidents.
So you meet with them, and they know weird stuff happens in sci-fi, and they're professionals, and and Sonequa was a TOS fan and recalled briefly a little bit, and she said she would go back and rewatch the episode. I don't remember if she ever did. I can't recall if she did, but she said she would look into it. But she remembers TOS and watched that. So yeah, you had to explain it, and they get it. It's just explain the story to them, and same thing with for Stamets, for Anthony Rapp. Talked with him ahead of time about what was going on.
All right, let's see.
If you don't mind, I could use a ride to the nearest Alliance starbase. I'd like to speak with Starfleet Command about reactivating my commission, among other things.
I want to be a fly on the wall of that conversation.
Right?
I want to be a fly on the wall in the next conversation that she's about to talk about. Is it? I think she talks about it in the wrap up. Because
it's been quite some time since I had to go into combat.
Because she goes to go.
It was
she
an
wants to
honor
go talk to Stamets.
To fight by your side. The Excalbians have asked me to remain as I am now, and to serve as an ambassador for this planet. These people have a great deal to learn about the universe, and I believe the Alliance can help them with that. And having some experience as a statesman, I might be able to make that process a little smoother for all parties involved. Should you return here, you will be most welcome. You've done all of us on Excalibur a great service today, one we will never forget. And for that, I thank you. Until we meet again, my friend, farewell.
Good luck to you, sir. Farewell. Now I gotta talk to the Rock Lobster.
The advocates of good return. We have learned much from your efforts in the trials. We did. After reviewing the events, we have decided to rule in favor of the concept of good.
And will you abide by the terms set at the beginning of the trials?
We will. As we have ruled in favor of good, the people of Excalibur will pursue those virtues from this day forward.
Very well. I wish you luck in that pursuit, Yarnik.
At least they reached a conclusion where Q never did.
All right.
Well, I think Q did. They just
for now, I'd like to put some
talk
distance
about. They
between
know
myself.
that humans will one day become. Oh, you killed the whole thing.
No,
What's that?
Well, for now, I'd like to put some distance between myself and Excalibur. Returning to Earth, catching up on what's happened since 2257. Sounds like a good place to start to me. I understand that an old friend of mine is on a similar journey now. I'll get in touch with Commander Stamets soon. I'd love to get his unique perspective on things. There's a lot waiting for me out there. Thank you for helping me get the chance to discover once again.
I love that. That's got to give that one to Paul. Paula Ryder. I love these little things he puts in there. And I love the way Sonequa delivers that line.
Is he the same one you gave credit for the puns on the?
No. Ryan does the puns.
Oh, okay.
He's the madman. Paul is our lead writer, and he's the one that just does a great job capturing the essences of these characters, and just putting the whole thing together. So I think we've talked about a blog of doing, having a story blog of having Stamets and Michael meeting, having that conversation. We did one with if everyone read that one, which is a really good story. I can't remember who wrote that. It might have been Jesse. Can't remember who wrote the story blog of Stamets talking to the Doctor, the Voyager Doctor, about the essence of existence.
Interesting.
So that was a good blog.
I remember that one. That one was great.
Yeah,
could you, in theory, take Excalbian Burnham, to the Mycelial Network and then have her even more be like?
No, because remember, Paul was unique, because he traveled the network. So and that's also how Hugh was connected through Paul, that his essence was in there. So everyone's essence isn't in the network. So, and I don't think we need there's no need to do that, because she is every bit as real as anyone would remember her to be, or any records would be there. She perhaps may be incomplete if there for certain things, while Paul would not be incomplete. But it's not like anyone can go into the mycelial network and make a clone of anybody. Stamets was unique in that, he traveled that network. His essence is there, so no. But we have different ways to get everybody, get as many people back. We don't have Tilly, but we have, we got Mirror Tilly into our timeline.
I love her.
Awesome.
Well, oh my God, she's so wonderful.
I know, I love her.
She's just every time I watch her on it just makes me smile just listening to her.
I love when you do because I have a lot of Discovery characters, but I love the tutorial when she's like, and we're running again.
Yeah. That's Paul. I hate running, right? So
God, I know, because I'm like, oh my God, running.
I think I just noticed on the ship right in here, it's 3D. Like if you move the ship around, you see the inside move. Can you see that on the screen?
There's a lot of that lately that the artists have been doing in a lot of these ships, where there's parallax inside. I'm not quite sure where in that one specifically. Certainly, you could ask Thomas.
Oh, I see it now. Well, there it is.
You're a little close there.
Looks like a transporter pad.
But they're certainly stepping up their game on these ship models. In some ways, the ship models are better than what our engine can render. So,
pretty.
There are definitely settings you can do to make things even look better. Maybe Thomas can talk about that in the future.
Yeah.
I know they do different things for when we do videos to just kind of, pump them up even more. But normally if you do them, it would just be too hard on the performance.
Right.
But there's a lot in these ship models.
I like looking at my sarcophagus because, man, that is so... Oh, it's so good.
That would be Ian Richards. That's one sick ship as far as the amount of greebles and details that are on that thing.
I know. I spent like a good amount of time just zooming in on all the bits. You're just like, oh my God, I can't believe they did all this.
That's a lot of
I
bits.
always take my ships to the Dyson sphere to inspect them because you get the good lighting there.
That's good light, best lighting in there for you.
Yeah, it's good lighting. For ships, at least.
You've been playing Star Trek Online for 10 years when you discuss the best environment lighting for your ship screenshots. Yeah, that is the case. That is the truth.
The Armada's doing Mirror Month in April, and we're going to do like a ship costume contest. So you post your ship screenshots to the website, and we'll vote on them.
I love the screenshots that players put out. Sometimes I'm like, wow,
you'll
see them. It's like, this game looks so good.
So, Lurch brings up a good question. I mean, he talks, you talked a little bit about the engine, but like, is there a way to update the engine to support, to keep up with artists like Thomas and their ship designs?
I think we're going to next week push the easy button and just say update engine, and just but it's not on the schedule yet. It's not on the schedule.
What could possibly break?
The update engine, but is I think it's in a couple weeks. It can do anything with code, but it's I mean, I'm not disappointed in the engine at all. This is a 10-year-old MMO, and I think it will hold its own against many modern games. Can it be newer and greater? Of course, but that is very, very far from free. We did a graphics update when we went to console a couple years ago. That I think that was 6 months of work of engineers, and so we could. That's not something that just happens all the time, and so probably not, or at least not for a very long time. And I think that's okay. I don't think it's important. I think the game is beautiful, and I think it holds its own.
Yeah. All right, Al. Well, I want to thank you again for sitting with us for part 2 of Measure of Morality, featuring voice acting by Sonequa Martin Green and Jerry Ryan. Thank you so very much for giving us a director's commentary and letting us peek behind the curtain of what it takes to make these episodes and put them together, which is certainly no easy task.
It's a lot of effort from a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people put a lot of work into this, especially this pair of episodes for the anniversary. This was a time for us to go big or go home, and everybody went big.
Nice.
I think that almost every person in the team had something to do with the development of these 2 episodes. And so, very much applaud the team, their efforts, the artists, the animators, the effects artists, QA, designers, system designers, content designers, concept artists, everybody else I can't remember. So just a tremendous amount of effort. This was a big undertaking. Very proud of it. It was a great celebration of Star Trek Online, and I'm glad so many people enjoyed it. I don't think I've really heard any significant bad comments about it. Everyone seemed to really enjoy this, and I'm watching Let's Play videos. First time people playing it was, I think I would have to say that, I'm watching some play and their initial reactions when crazy stuff happens, and then when, especially from the cutscenes, like when Noe gets stabbed or Tiket becomes a Borg, and then the big hero ship moments, and watching the shock and the joy in people's faces and their voices. I mean, it brought a tear to my eye. I was so overjoyed that I could make people feel that way, that we could make people feel that way with the art that we do. And so that was I can never play Star Trek Online like you guys play Star Trek Online. I can never be surprised or sometimes I get surprised, but I shouldn't be. But I could never, I could never experience it for the first time like everyone. But what I can do is I can watch people play and watch them experience it for the first time.
Right.
And that's my reward. And so for the people who post those videos and sharing their feelings, I thank you, and thank you for playing our game.
Yeah.
Thank you for making it
for 10 years. That's right. Thank you for giving us. Thank you for giving us.
I feel like we should do playthrough videos now when new episodes
That's
come
true.
out.
We probably should. We really should.
Because my reaction when those episodes, I was like, "Oh my god!"
No, I'd love to do it. I might have some time on my hands in the upcoming months. So
that's true. All right, Captains. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, everywhere that we went live this afternoon. Again, Al, thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk with you again soon.
Thank you, and everyone, wash your hands and be safe.
Yeah.
Recording stopped.
Man, I do love that episode. Now I want to play that.